All right. So this is by a movie crew. We're trying something a little different. We're supposed to be looking at the.
It's 2026, so you know you gotta try something different. Can't stay stagnant.
Yeah. But anyhow, the point is that we're the Bad Movie Crew. We're here today. This is a test / a review because we were reviewing something. We were having a conversation because we is friends. We actually are friends. And we was having a conversation and, you know, ultimately we decided to turn on the camera and see what's going on. So, Mark, what are we reviewing today?
We're reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day. No.
I thought we was doing Supergirl.
Bad Movie Crew. Bad Movie Crew.
As he said, we're reviewing Supergirl. I mean, that should be all like 5 minutes. Cause
Yeah, this shouldn't be long. Supergirl, it came out earlier this year. We don't have the facts or figures because this is literally just a test. But either which way, this spoiler alert. Yo, look there. Spoiler alert. Remember, we are going to spoil the hell out of this movie for the 5 minutes we can review this movie. All right, Mark. Supergirl.
bad,
Terrible.
horrible. Just like she cousin movie, Superman.
Mark,
Horrible.
worse than that.
Yeah, true. Worse than that.
But
Much worse than that.
But coming out of that, though, the question is, why, you know, Mark got a slight issue with strong independent women, how you fall in these men in big movies or whatever.
See, they're
right?
saying no, you got the feminists in my DMs.
Tell the people.
I have no issue with strong female characters.
Right.
Two of my favorite characters in movies is Eleanor Ripley and Christ, what's she name from Terminator?
Oh, Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor.
Mm.
Why? Because they were done well. They were written well. They were strong because they accepted their flaws. And that is my problem with a lot of these female characters.
Not to cross you, but also remember too, they started off as very, very ultra feminine and meek. But because of the situations that they were placed in, they had to be badasses.
Correct.
It's either be a badass or dead.
Correct. Adapt
Right.
or die.
Mm.
And again, if you go back to Terminator 1 and Aliens 1, they had to resort, well, more so Aliens. She had to resort on her knowledge of the ship and just basic common sense. And that's been the problem. We forget that common sense is supposed to be common.
Boy.
Common sense is supposed to be common. And that is this is what's lacking. It's one thing to be okay, you want to do everything yourself, but you can't do everything yourself, and you got people with you, and they're gonna help. You're gonna get help somehow. Sarah Connor had help in the first one, and he taught her how to be self-sufficient, which is how we get the badass as a Sarah Connor in Terminator 2.
Right.
Eleanor Ripley in 1 relied on her knowledge of the ship, just because she's just a pilot. People just forget. She was just the pilot of the ship, you know.
She was ready to eject everybody.
Everybody. We ain't breaking protocol. We can eject everybody. And 2, it was 60 years later? Something like that. She was in cryo sleep. 60 years later, she wake up and she gets sent with Marines.
Right.
I mean, shit hit the fan. The Marine was like, here, you need to learn to use this gun. And what did she do? She took the learning. Was it a man that showed her? Yes. Was he dismissive of her? No, because she, knowing who was the only person that had contact with this life force, this like being the xenomorphs. They sought her counsel.
And it was about survival.
So you had to listen to all parties involved, except for Bert, who didn't want to care about everything.
Yeah.
But you know, Bert, you need the antagonist to antagonize.
Yeah.
But still, nowadays we get characters like Ray, Supergirl. Oh God, there's so Captain Marvel. I know you like Captain Marvel, but that movie's god awful.
Shoot, not Scarlet Witch. Black Widow.
And then the thing is, I don't mind Black Widow. For what?
Because she was trained.
But for what exactly?
Because she was trained. Okay.
For what Black Widow? The character of Black Widow is ultra spy, ultra effective. Use her sexiness, whatever. That's what she's trained to do. And in none of her outings in any of the Marvel movies did she really overstep that. And for what she is, and for the people she's working with, we have the super soldier. We got a literal god. We have got a playboy, philanthropist, genius, everything. You got a man that literally has rage issues that hulks out, that turns into the green giant.
So I guess you're saying the suspension of disbelief is a bit more like if you got a problem with the woman that kicking ass more so than let's say a man turning green and breaking everybody, then you got problems.
You got
But I
problems.
will tell you this though. I'll tell you this, and this is where the conversation started for us. Because how do you, in an age where you are pushing the strong, independent, don't need a man, can do everything by themselves woman, and mess up Supergirl? Because it's literally built in to the character, especially where they left off from Superman here the other day, right?
I think that was a
You
god-awful movie.
already brought her out as a woman or a person that is independent. Don't need a body. I ain't really adhering to my cousin rules, and I can do as I feel like. I rebellious, etc., right?
Teenage
You do
angst.
that, right? You have a MacGuffin, a literal MacGuffin in Kryptonite that will depower her and power her up as you feel like. You are putting her in a larger universe. This is not Earth. You can essentially make characters that are stronger than her. But she faces her adversity as what?
Trying to figure out who she is.
Her adversity is trying to figure. And I am sorry to say, but in my superhero movies, my summer blockbusters, that should not be a primary thing. That should be secondary, tertiary, down the line of plot points that you need to do for your character development. It cannot be. And I thought it was a very smart way for them to weave in the destruction of Krypton. Right? They didn't do it in Superman movie.
Yeah.
But they did it in Supergirl's movie,
Yeah.
right? Which is already, because it has been shown in the previous Superman movies, when you put that in, it already clunky. But then you give a whole exposition of her trying to find herself. All right, fine. She's trying to find herself, find responsibility, find discipline, that sort of thing, right? My problem with the movie came with, you depower her, Red Sun, all right? She gets she ass cut.
She
She
find the
power
yellow,
up.
she find the yellow sun.
She cut ass. Then she get the power again. I think she'll get injected with some poison or something like that there.
Something.
Right? Depower again. Right? Then she power back up
To
to
fight
depower again.
when she get plain planet.
Right?
With the green kryptonite that's
Right.
that's rotate like,
So it's like
sunrise and sunset.
So it's like you can't find a way to use her weaknesses to
Weaknesses? A female character?
every
In 2020?
Listen,
in 2026, sir?
listen.
How dare you?
every
Get him.
listen to me.
Get him.
Listen to me.
Get him.
Every character that is developed across whatever medium you decide to have that character, they must have flaws.
Real Skywalker late to have a real review.
And that is why that movie was terrible. That's why that whole series was terrible.
Just telling you.
Right? Everybody has to have a flaw.
Agreed.
And overcoming that flaw is why we root for the people we root for.
It's called the hero's journey.
The hero's journey.
You have
So
to do-
educated people, man.
Yeah, that's why
you got the hero's journey.
You have to have it.
So in my estimation, right, Supergirl could have done well. I like the introduction of Lobo. I don't even mind the
You mean Jason Momoa playing Jason Momoa?
yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah. With
Yeah.
with
With
fangs,
prosthetics.
fangs, yeah,
With
with fangs, right? I ain't got no problem with that. I have no problem with even the antagonist that they had, even though I don't know who the person is. I have no problem with that. And his band of merry men. I have no problem with that.
Nothing.
Right? What I have an issue with is that it never seemed as though Supergirl's weaknesses were actual character issues that she had, or elements of her
More-
that she needed to either overcome or to work past.
There's more inconveniences than
I wouldn't even say it felt like plot points. It felt like devices. It felt like
it's more of a, I would say
it felt like, you know what? Supergirl gonna be too powerful for these next two scenes. So let me dumb she down a little bit.
again.
Right?
But in 2026, you can't have women looking weak for too long.
And it is funny, right? This ain't got nothing to do with this podcast, but it is, we can touch on it a little bit. I find it very interesting that we have softened the toxic man, but we are empowering women almost to be toxic as well.
Well,
Toxic feminine.
you see, here's the problem. Back in the day, we had writers. Today, we have people that write. It may sound like the same thing, but it's a huge difference. Because the writers understood, hey, if I do A, there must be a B that counteracts it, which gives a struggle. Nowadays, people raising up without a struggle. They don't understand consequences. So how can you write something you don't understand? How do you write something that you don't curable? Let me say that.
Right.
Because I've never been to war, and I probably could write a war. It might not make sense. I could get consultants. I could go to
do research.
I could do research. I could go to vets. I can segue in the Green Mile. The scene where the guy is electrocuted and it goes horrifically wrong.
Yeah.
That's actually what happened. And I think that's a Stephen King novel?
Yeah.
Even director came out, said they researched it and they said that that's things that happen. I can research for it and I can write it. But then when you don't care about it and you just want to say, well, oh look, I write a war movie, and you put yourself in it, you self-insert your movie, which is happening a lot these days, which again, identity politics, and I don't want to get into there because we could be here for the next 7 hours talking about this. But you can't want to have these strong characters, whether male, female, android, him, her, she, it, this, them, that, whatever. There's certain things that have to play out for your audience to identify with. There are people that identify with the villains and they go for the villains. People go for the protagonists, and that's fine. But whatever you have, especially for the protagonist, if there's no struggle, then there's no reason for me to back the person. Because then, if there's no tension, if we say, okay, yes, we know James Bond is not going to die. Well, sorry, given the last one. James Bond is not to die, or not supposed to die. But if he goes in and every decision he makes is right, then there's no suspense to the movie. And that's be the problem. You have to build suspense. You have to make me say, well, hey, something could go wrong here. That, okay, if Bond shoot the wrong body or shoot at the wrong time, this could have a serious, as much as, oh Lord, what's the one with Christmas? There was the James Bond with Christmas. Where the girl, the doctor name was Christmas. It was Denise Richards.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
As bad as that was, there were still consequences.
Christmas? I don't know what that's gonna look like. Christmas? Shut up, Cat William, man. Christmas?
Even though the movie may have been a bad James Bond movie, there were still consequences to his actions. He made mistakes. People, the pipeline blew up. They thought he was dead. He trusted the wrong woman. That's a lesson for you men sitting there somewhere along the way. Can't blame the feminists and wait. The feminists might be strong after this character. But again, there were consequences, but you don't know, okay, fine. I can follow this person. When you bring a character like Rhea, who every decision she makes is right. Nobody makes a right decision 100% of the time.
But his movies is suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. You and to add to that, right? The problem with Supergirl in this instant is that, yes, she had challenges, but her challenges was her running from the destruction of her planet and death of her parents, right? That is something that we can talk about, that you can explore in a character. I just found that, and a big problem I have with the movie too is movies need to show, don't tell. Don't exposition us into doing things. And I think there's a balance between showing Krypton being destroyed, which I think was a clever way they did it in the movie, but her having to deal with the loss of her parents, the loss of her planet, being alone and going to a strange world and all sorts of things. It's almost like you gotta find ways and means now to have that humanized. But it didn't feel humanized. It felt like they brought the little girl to be the audience. She played to the little girl, played to the audience, and it never felt like she was playing to the actual little girl. It never felt like she was actually speaking about her struggles or dealing with her struggles of losing her parents and losing her planet. And to be honest, losing your parents and losing your planet, we can't all relate to losing a planet. No. Certainly some of us can relate to losing loved ones close to us. But we know that that's something we can avoid. We can, she in this movie was drinking. She went to a planet where she could drink. She drank, got drunk, and she was whatever, right? But it could have been trimmed down a bit in terms of the exposition and the talking. Like that whole side quest where she was dealing with Krypton and dealing with the death, the finding the dog and the death of her mother, and then her father realization and meeting Clark. Like, I don't care. We know she met Clark. We know at some point the ship just crashed on Earth. She's met Clark. Clark then bumble his way through it. It played out just as we want. We don't need to see it.
Lord,
So
and that scene pissed me off even more.
You mean in the snow?
That scene pissed me off even more because literally, y'all know we did do a review of the latest Superman. For whatever reason, it gone to file 13.
We did a review of Superman.
Yeah, we did. We did a review of Superman, and you posted it, and only half the episode went up. So yeah, it went to file 13.
Oh,
yeah,
right. That was what happened with that one.
Yeah, it went to file 13. But
that movie was bad too. If you want to review here, that was not a good movie. It was not as bad as Supergirl, but it was bad.
James Gunn, DCU by James Gunn is just horrible. But moving on, there's part of that there where no, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. You're the Superman
right
person here. Mm-hmm. In every iteration other than this one, he knows his language. He's taught his language. In the ship here, in the Fortress of Solitude, he's taught
the information is given to him.
Information given to him.
Yeah.
He was the dumbest fucking Superman ever put on planet. And then when you crash land Kara on the planet and he is talking to her and he's like, I don't even know why I'm talking to you. I don't even understand your language. It just pissed me off even more.
But this goes back to what you are saying, or what we are saying essentially, is that you are taking men, you dumbing them right down, and you taking women and you making them toxic men. You making them, because what? We find Kara in this movie drinking, running from her problems, not giving a freak about anybody.
That's a man.
That's a toxic man trait. Clark, now, on the other hand, and we know Clark is always a very naive person, etc., etc. But say what you want, that's when he is Clark. But as Superman, when he's on his Kryptonian-ish.
When he on his bullshit.
When he on his Kryptonian bullshit, he's got that down pat. His language, his lore, his science, everything to do with Krypton, he knows.
Actually, it's not even Krypton. He has all the knowledge of the universes. I think this is one thing that they kind of they gloss over with Superman. Going back to the Christopher Reeves one, they make a point of showing you his travel to Earth, and you hear Marlon Brando talking and explaining each galaxy he passed through, whatever. When it comes to intelligence and intellect, he is up there with Batman and them, and I think they gloss it over because then he would literally be that super nigga. Well, and he would be super overpowered because you got strength and brawn, and brains. Right, exactly. So to then present this Superman to me that is clearly done and lacking knowledge of his own world and whatnot. I got over it when we did the review. It was out my system. Don't mind it went for 13. Maybe one day we'll do it over. Who knows? But then you just brought him back in a cameo, and then that further pissed me off of how foolish this movie was.
Yeah, they try hard to connect. You know, it's funny, right? We are talking about a movie played by human beings about aliens trying to be human beings, and yet still they all are human being talk. They miss the mark completely about human and human connection. The scenes with Kara and Clark in them never felt human. And that's not to say, because I understand they're Kryptonians or whatever, but you're playing to a human audience, you're human. It's just make-believe. To me, it never felt like it connected. And then when it was starting to get to the connection, Krypto, give the chocolate, not the chocolate. You subvert expectations by putting in an ill-timed joke, right? So it was just a clunky mess. I found, and I was telling Mark to James Gunn to do this thing where he just make all his movies, space gotta be pretty, like really oversaturated and over pretty, and got to play like rock and roll music or pop culture music.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
And for me, I don't know why. Because it's a stylistic choice.
Because of what he knows.
And that's his stylistic choice.
Much like when this is a Zack Snyder movies be runtime is about 3 hours. If you cut out the slow-mo, hour and a half.
But you see, this was a perfect opportunity for him. Because you got Superman with the bright color palette, warm, everything like that. This was an opportunity where you in space is cool, space is dark. There's obviously a lot of seedy elements and stuff. There were bars and dives, and you got men killing children and all sorts of things.
Correct.
Right? You could have, I ain't saying go full dark.
You don't need Gotham.
You don't need Gotham, but still, I don't need it to look like Guardians of the Galaxy. Because you already got Guardians of the Galaxy. Shoot, in the same universe, you got Superman that you just created. So it was just confusing to us when we were, as I said, before we turned on the camera, we was just having a conversation about Supergirl and why they can't seem to get today's men and women protagonists done well. Like, it feels as though there's always a counterweight. Like, because when we were growing up, the men were hyper toxic masculine, right? And the women were, oh, help me, damsels in distress. And now it's almost like you tipping the scales so that the woman is the toxic one, the man is the doofus.
And
right?
that's not how it should be. If you look back, and even if you want to go to the hyper toxic masculinity thing, some of the better action movies balanced it well.
Yeah, Die Hard. He's a toxic man.
He's a toxic man.
He shows his humanity throughout the series.
There's Ram. There wasn't much women in Rambo,
but he real toxic though. But Rambo speaks to the PTSD
of war,
the consequences of war on humans.
Terminator. We already talked about Terminator, and that was done well. Aliens was done well. Even if we go to, again, dating with self-care, movies with Cynthia Rothrock, Michelle Yeoh,
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and them sort of movies, they were still feminine. It's just they had to be badasses when the time calls for it.
Exactly.
And here's the thing, right? When you have challenges that are going to threaten your survival or the survival of the people around your community, your loved ones, sometimes you got to go to character. Oh, right? As a woman, you might got to kill some niggas. You might got to cut some throat. Right? So men, just turn off that, be a brute. Yeah. But the toxicity comes with the drinking, the sexual promiscuity, the foul language, the disregard.
So James Bond.
James Bond has always toxic. That's why they had to do James Bond how they did with Daniel Craig. Because James Bond, you going all the way back to Sean Connery. Sean Connery used to openly hit women. They had a James Bond, me and my wife was watching the other day on Netflix, the man open hand a woman. Normal. And it was like, whoa, James. Okay. Right. We're watching 1960s and 2026.
But those were the times. Not condoning it.
But that's what it was. So, but even what they did with James Bond, the few iterations, Born Identity, those sorts of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. You show a broken person. And that's the thing, when you're doing characters, especially if you're doing broken characters, you have to show characters that are broken, but they know something is not right within themselves. Exactly. Right? They may be an asshole, or they may be hyper masculine or toxic.
The self-evaluation has to be there.
Right. At some point, and it doesn't even have to be nothing like a backstory. It could be a look when a certain situation play out. Man, we can leave this bitch. And then you're like,
boy, I really can't do that.
Yeah. My heart's off. And you turn around, sit cheese on and complain about whatever. But there are ways that you
we can complain about it.
But we can complain about it. You could show a broken person, show their flaws, show them overcoming those flaws. Right? But when you have, I think, and this is the problem, dealing with grief. Because that's what Supergirl is about, dealing with grief. Mm-hmm. Did they accurately deal with grief? Like I have lost someone. Right?
So I think we at that age.
You lose people, right? And obviously not to a whole planet, but you lose people that close to you. Mm-hmm. And not once did I feel connected to her dealing with grief.
You're talking.
I didn't even feel like she was grieving.
I felt nothing to that movie. I have, in all of my years of watching movies, whether I despise the movie or I love the movie or whatever, there's something in the movie that I have connected to with this movie. Supergirl is the first time that I honestly walked out of a theater and I went,
oh, you made me think, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I should cut that out. Oh, you spent money.
I spent money.
Oh.
I spent real money.
Oh, dear.
And I came out the theater like, I felt nothing. Like, set pieces. I barely remember the set pieces. I just kept saying, okay. But in terms of the open mind, I said, let me watch this, let me see what's going on. And then like in the movie, I just like, first off, the first thing you see is Crypto pissing on a picture of Superman. No,
Well, that already set the tone.
that,
You know what time it is.
you know what time it is when it is.
You know
When
what time it is.
You got the subliminal messages they're going.
Yeah.
So we understand what you're saying. And then and from there, just watching the movie like, all right, I got 2.5 hours of this here. And I came out, I literally left the cinema like, I felt nothing. Like, even, I try to remember a bad movie. Walking out of Talladega Nights, I felt something more. And they did not even finish Talladega Nights. We did not finish Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights had its moments. It was real funny.
It did, but
I understand what you're saying. At least you got some
I am
emotion.
honestly trying.
Even the fight scenes were just
Dog,
like CGI mix.
I walked away. Actually, I walked away from He-Man Masters of the Universe feeling more than I did for this. And that's another review that we gotta do. But don't worry, that we did that coming out. Plug in future works. But I came out of Masters of the Universe with at least my disdain for it. I had a reason for my disdain. The things that I hated about the trailer translated to the movie, and so said, so that. I felt something. I felt nothing from the Supergirl trailers, which should have been. But again, we is experts and we has a channel, so good. I came out to the movie feeling nothing, and I'm like, nah, this ain't make no sense. Like,
Yeah,
and the thing is, you're rebooting a universe that is already behind the 8 ball of Marvel. And I say what you want, you could not phase 4, 5, 6, whichever it is that they're trying to reboot now. Those first 3 phases of Marvel, they at least knew
They had a book.
they had a plan. They had, I mean, after Iron Man, I want to say after Iron Man 2, there was a few retcons here and there to kind of align the story. But they knew, well, okay, this is where we build into. It's clear now, those are doing the DCEU or DCU or a DCEU? Yeah,
DCU.
Whichever it is.
Right.
They don't know because you got Matt Reeves' Batman who getting a part 2.
But
then there's another Batman coming for this universe. Like, what are you doing?
I will not say they don't have a plan. What I would say they don't have an in-depth plan like what Marvel had. Because Marvel had literally up until Infinity War and Endgame from even before it. And I'm not saying they had it planned out to who's the actors and what time we can release, but they had like, okay, we're going to start with Iron Man, the Hulk, but we want to conclude somewhere around Thanos.
Actually, I don't even think that plan happened until like later on. I think
there's a Bible that there's a thing they got where they
may say that now. But if you watch those early movies like from like Edward Norton's Hulk and
Iron Man,
the first
Captain America had
the first 2 Iron Man, the Iron Man and Captain America. I think when they put out Iron Man, they did it to see and the success, the response and the success of Iron Man, and they then realized who. But if we made success with Iron Man and Thor, who for the most part are kind of like the B-list. I don't really want some B-list.
Yeah, they ain't here.
They ain't here, but they ain't like.
Because let me be honest, the Avengers was not the big. That boy wasn't. Honestly speaking, if you had told me 30 years ago that an Avengers movie was coming out versus an X-Men movie was coming out, well, I want to see an Avengers.
We had X-Men movies about
we had X-Men movies, but the success, and I'm not saying there weren't good Avengers runs in the comic books.
Of course there were.
But because you had
the thing because Avengers were so many people and
their threats are mainly cosmic, and it's hard to do space and still be lighthearted for a comic and
right. So like Captain America, again, I pose this question again. We know who's the big 3 for DC: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. But you can't give me a big 3 and like you could give me a big 2, which is usually Captain America and Spider-Man.
I mean, you can't get a big 3 and
who's the third?
Thor. When him take on Thanos?
No, hold on. Pre-MCU. Pre-MCU.
Oh, Thor. Thor is a big one.
No, I meant, no. When I say the big three, like when you think of DC, these three people pop in your head. Those are like the flagship people.
Okay.
When you think of Marvel,
Oh no, I don't think about Captain America. I don't think about Iron Man. I don't think about Thor.
you,
It's
you
only
have,
because of the movies that came
you-
out I
you
think
have-
then.
but
No,
you-
but I used to think about the X-Men. So Wolverine, Magneto is my man,
we know that.
right? Then you go from there. Who else?
We know Spider-Man. It's
Spider-Man. Spider-Man for sure.
Spider-Man for sure. But you could flip flop depending on who you talk to. Somebody might put Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Somebody-
Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom. Yeah.
Somebody might put Captain America, just because
Yeah, patriotic.
patriotic
Yeah,
or whatever. You might get Jesus. I can't. Like you said, some like if you
Marvel
dig down
was in a bad problem before
before Blade.
Marvel.
Thanks to Blade.
I would even say around Blade people, because you had Marvel get sell off and thing, you know.
Yeah, I know,
Because a lot of
exactly.
people,
Which is why Sony got Spider-Man.
I think somebody had asked me recently, how Marvel could have sold to Disney and to
Because they were
the man had no money.
Before
This is like
Blade,
90s,
Blade came out in 98.
97, something
Nice.
like that.
Before that, they were broke. They made some bad choices,
Yeah.
and they were selling off a lot of their IPs to stay afloat. And that's how Sony ends up with Spider-Man. And thanks to Blade, they got Wesley
Shout out
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
They were able to get back a lot of their rights. They can't get back Spider-Man because Sony is like, we can partnership here.
But you see, but
we
I
can partnership
have
here.
that with Spider-Man with
Sony?
Sony because if B-list heroes like the Avengers doing well and Spider-Man is the crown jewel of Marvel, you got pride out from like dead. You got
Cold
me in the
dead
dark
fingers.
alley, me boy.
And the latest Spider-Man here, I think that raking $1 billion already.
Yeah, that on its way to 2.
There we go.
I think that was 1.5, 1.6.
Again, because you know the rights are, you get some.
Yes.
You get some shit like Morbius, but we don't talk about Morbius. Like we don't talk about Bruno.
Boy, in another episode, I would like to talk about why these studios, Sony, are bringing out these side
It's almost
villains and characters from IPs that
to make to just
Madam Web?
to kind of just talk about it quickly. Think about the bat embargo.
the what?
The Batman embargo. Like there's this thing like where if you use certain characters in certain media, they can't transform over to another media. We spoke about this when we did our Batman review for the Batman. So like basically what you would have seen like, Lord, basically, where there were like different Batmans. So like you will have the Joker, but you wouldn't necessarily have Batman in that movie.
But who the hell want Craven? Who want Craven?
I didn't.
Who was out here saying, "Oh my God, I cannot wait till they make a standalone Craven movie,
But you see, I was
a Morbius movie"?
But here's again the success of Venom. Venom one
But
was
Venom is but here's that's my problem. My problem is that Venom is a different type of character. Venom,
yeah, but you got Venom without Spider-Man, so that didn't make sense to me.
it did not. But people would more watch Venom only because of how he was portrayed in the comics. Venom was Spider-Man but bad. And don't care nothing about life. He want to eat the bad guys.
Big up Carnage.
Big up Carnage.
Big up Carnage.
I remember as a little man reading a Carnage comic.
Maximum Carnage. boy.
Maximum Carnage.
I was like, yeah,
When the
alright.
man say, yeah, I can kill this woman and she baby.
I was like, I mean,
And I was like,
can we do this?
You can write this? You can do this? Right?
This gets past the censorship.
You understand? So that is why people want to see Venom, because by extension you can start to see the Carnage, the Scream, you can see all of them,
Yeah.
right? So that world in itself is very mature, dark, right?
But money off you mean it was trying anything out the wall the whole
And here's the thing, Venom for the comics made a lot of money.
It's true.
Who the hell want to see Morbius? Craven? Craven is a C-list at best.
The thing is, I actually like the actor that played Krem.
I do too.
I like
do
him.
too. I do. too.
I
do
think
too. I
he.
do
I
too.
think he.
Yeah. And
He
that,
po- he's. Po- I think he could be. He could be in the top A list for me because he'd been in a few roles. He was in Bullet Train. Love Bullet Train. He was in Craven.
he
Everybody's got
was
Ghost thinker.
Quicksilver. He was in
Yeah,
Kong.
He was in.
It was Kong, Godzilla. One of them. Yeah, but he was making. His wife was his sister.
His wife was his sister.
Let me frame that differently. So in the I think it's Godzilla. He had a wife who was Scarlet Witch. The actress who plays Scarlet Witch.
Oh.
So it was kind of weird that in Marvel you established that is the man's sister.
Oh,
and
this
then
is the first Godzilla with the guy from Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Well,
That
he
was-
would. Yeah.
that was
But again, I actually think he would. Actually, think he would be a good James Bond.
Nah.
You don't think so? You don't think he can?
Mm.
You don't think he can pull it
doesn't.
off?
He doesn't. Because the closest I would have seen him in a role like that would have been Bullet Train.
Mhm.
And to me, he is not. There's a debonair, a certain level of suave.
But we didn't think Daniel Craig could pull it off.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
And I was pleasantly surprised when they made him a more physical character. But I saw Daniel Craig. I mean, he was blonde and short hair, whatever, but I could see him playing. You never watched Daniel Craig in like Layer Cake and them sort of movies.
No.
Right. So
But I just think he would make a good James Bond because he had in Craven he showed physicality. You see that he kind of could be debonair and kind of smooth-ish in Bullet Train. Yeah, I don't see why not. He has comedic timing, and we all know that Bond has got some one-liners in there that just bright you up. I mean, here's the thing: a lot of people kind of, I could be wrong, but then people have an issue with Brosnan when he went.
I don't see why not. For Tiny Mom was Remington Steele. Was like that is James Bond.
So did I.
And that's 87.
So did I. But I think there was pushback there. Again, we dating ourselves. But we kind of getting sidetracked. Supergirl, horrible. Don't do it.
Yeah. Out of 5 cryptos.
Half. Well, one. That's because I just want. I know you're gonna be a dog, and I don't want female. I don't want. It's not female. I don't want
Peter.
Peter. I want Peter. So a one, and that's only because it's a dog that we use.
RSPCA come for me.
No.
Half. They get half a crypto from me.
Yeah.
Movie is terrible. Bad
Horrible.
rating.
Don't do it.
So
Don't do it.
anyhow, close it out.
As always, like, comment, subscribe, share. You know, if you watch it, I think we could file. We could get one as have you watched Supergirl? You may be into fight. Maybe
You got
entitled
lawsuit.
fight.
Get my money.
You may be entitled financial compensation. But if you watch it, let you know. Do you agree? Disagree? Truthfully, if you found anything redeeming in that movie, I will sit down with you and listen to you.
God bless your child, boy.
God bless you. I would.
God bless your child. I watch that.
Until next time.